There is a number that quietly follows you around for years. Your first $10,000. It doesn't look like much when you say it out loud, but emotionally, it feels huge. Because saving your first $10,000 isn't just about money. It's about proving to yourself that you're not stuck anymore. That you can actually build something slowly, on purpose, on your own terms. But no one warns you about how this journey really feels. It's not glamorous. It's not fast. And most of the time, it doesn't even feel like it's working. You save a little, then something happens. An emergency, a trip, a bill, an impulse, and suddenly your progress disappears. Again. You start asking yourself, maybe I'm just bad with money. Maybe saving is only for people who earn way more than I do. But here's the truth almost no one tells you. Your difficulty in saving your first $10,000 has less to do with numbers and everything to do with psychology. Your fears, your impulses, your need to feel caught up, and the quiet stories you believe about what's possible for someone like you. That's exactly what the psychology of money reveals. You don't win with money because you're the smartest. You win because you manage your behavior when it matters most. And once you understand that, saving your first $10,000 becomes less about suffering and more about building a new identity. Not the person who's always behind, but the person who quietly, consistently builds wealth starting now. That's what we're going to do together in this video, not with magic tricks, but with a mindset and a system you can actually live with. Think back to the last few years of your life. How many times did you try to save only to watch your balance go back to zero? Maybe you saved a little, then a friend invited you on a trip you didn't want to miss, or your car broke down, or you saw something online that felt like it would make you feel better right now. From the outside, it just looks like bad discipline, but the book would say something deeper. You weren't failing at math. You were reacting to emotion. Fear of missing out, fear of looking behind, fear of not enjoying life while you're still young. And that fear makes short-term comfort feel more important than long-term progress. So instead of building your first $10,000, you keep buying tiny moments of relief. None of those decisions look crazy on their own. They're normal. Everyone around you does the same. But that's the dangerous part. Normal is exactly what keeps most people broke. The first shift from the psychology of money is this. Your financial results are a reflection of your behavior, not your potential. You're not bad with money. You've just never been taught to manage what controls your choices, your emotions, your expectations, and your comparison to everyone else. Once you see that clearly, the journey to your first $10,000 stops being a mystery and starts becoming a simple, repeatable process. Before we go deeper into that process, tell me in the comments, what's the closest you've ever gotten to your first $10,000 and what pulled you back? To understand why $10,000 feels so difficult, you have to see the invisible story you've been carrying about money. Maybe you grew up in a house where every bill brought stress, or where money was never discussed at all, which silently taught you that money is something we don't handle well. Maybe when there was money, it was spent quickly on big moments, treats, or things to show that everything is okay. Those experiences didn't just disappear when you became an adult. They turned into automatic reactions. Spending whenever you feel stressed. Avoiding your bank app because it feels uncomfortable. convincing yourself that you'll organize things later, even when you know you won't. The book explains a simple truth. You're not reacting to money itself. You're reacting to your history with money. And then social media adds another layer. You open your phone and see people your age traveling, upgrading their lives, talking about investing, posting wins, celebrating promotions. Even when you know it's a highlight reel, you still feel that quiet punch in the stomach. Why am I not there yet? Why does everyone else seem ahead of me? That comparison doesn't just hurt emotionally, it changes your behavior. You start spending to feel less behind. You say yes to things you can't really afford. You avoid saving because saving feels slow, and slow feels like failure. But here's one of the key ideas from the psychology of money. Real wealth is what you don't see. The people truly building something, you don't see their screenshots of not buying things. You don't see the nights they stay home. You don't see the boring transfers into an emergency fund. You only see the results much later, when it looks like they got lucky. Reaching your first $10,000 is about stepping out of this invisible game, refusing to let someone else's timeline control your behavior, choosing to look rich to your future self instead of to strangers online. And once you make that decision, you're ready for the most unfair advantage you have right now: time. Your first $10,000 isn't built by one big decision. It's built by time multiplying small decisions that felt useless in the moment. That's what makes this so hard to see. If you save $5 today, nothing changes. If you automate $100 this month, your life looks exactly the same. If you say no to an impulse, no one claps for you. So your brain says, this doesn't matter. This is too slow. And because results are invisible in the short term, you choose the visible reward. Spend now, feel good now, worry later. But the psychology of money repeats this idea. The most powerful force in building wealth is not intelligence, it's time plus behavior. Your first $10,000 feels impossible because you judge your progress by what happens this week, this month, this paycheck. But money doesn't work on that scale. It rewards those who respect the long term, especially at the beginning when the numbers are small. The unfair advantage you have right now is simple. You still have years for your habits to compound.
When you save $50, $100, or $200 a month, you're not just moving numbers, you're training your identity. You're becoming the person who saves first, spends after, the person who always has something set aside, the person who treats $10K not as a dream, but as a phase you're passing through. And identity is what protects you when life tests your plans, and it will. To turn this into something practical, I left a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It's a step-by-step guide to help you build the kind of habits that quietly move you toward your first 10K without relying on motivation or willpower alone. But time and consistency alone aren't enough if you're fighting the wrong enemy. Most people believe the main problem is income. If I earned more, I'd have my first 10K already. If my job paid better, saving wouldn't be so hard. And yes, income matters, but the psychology of money shows something uncomfortable. People with high incomes can stay broke. People with average incomes can quietly build wealth. The difference is behavior, especially how much of what you earn you actually keep. Your savings rate is your real superpower. If you earn a lot and spend a lot, you're not building freedom, you're just upgrading your obligations. If you earn modestly but protect a piece of it every month, you're building something sturdy, even if it doesn't look impressive yet. On the path to your first 10K, your goal isn't to live like a minimalist monk or to cut every joy out of your life. Your goal is to design a life where saving is non-negotiable and everything else adjusts around it. That means 3 things. 1, decide your minimum savings number. Not, I'll save whatever's left, but every month, at least this much goes toward my first 10K. 2, automate that decision so you don't have to be disciplined every time. The transfer happens before you see the money. 3, lower the noise. Fewer temptations, fewer I'm behind triggers, fewer situations where you're pressured to spend just to fit in. When you do this, something shifts. Saving stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like self-respect. You're not just cutting expenses, you're buying back your future. Let's make this even more practical. Imagine your first $10,000 as a project with phases, not a single mountain you climb in one jump. Phase 1, stability before growth. You build a small emergency buffer, $500, $1,000, whatever fits your reality. This is the money that keeps you from going backwards every time life hits you. Most people skip this step. They try to rush straight into getting rich. But the psychology of money is clear. Staying rich is about protection, not just growth. Your first layer of savings protects your future decisions. Phase 2, the 10K system. You decide how much you can comfortably save and invest every month, which account holds your first 10K goal, and what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not. Then you automate it, not as a temporary challenge, but as a lifestyle. This doesn't need to be complicated. A basic checking account for bills, a separate account for your 10K goal, automatic transfers right after payday. Optional, a simple, low-fee investment for a portion of that money, but only if your emergency buffer is in place. The point isn't perfection, the point is predictability. People who reach their first 10K aren't always the ones who know everything about finance. They're the ones who can repeat the same boring, smart decision month after month. Phase 3, protecting your progress. This is where psychology matters most. You'll feel tempted to reward yourself the first time your account hits a number you've never seen before. You'll feel a quiet urge to pull money out for a trip, a gadget, an upgrade, because part of you still believes that money is meant to be spent as soon as it feels big enough. This is the moment the book prepares you for. You remind yourself, real wealth is the money you don't touch until it serves a bigger purpose. Every time you let your savings stay where they are, you reinforce a new story. I'm the kind of person who protects my future, even when it would be easy not to. That's how your first 10K stops being fragile and starts becoming your new normal. At some point on this journey, you'll face another dangerous thought. It's not working fast enough. You'll look at your balance and think, I've been doing this for months. Why am I still so far from 10K? This is where most people quit. Not because the plan was bad, but because their expectations were unrealistic. We live in a world where every story you hear is about someone getting rich quickly, a lucky break, a viral moment, an investment that exploded. But the psychology of money reminds you only see the highlight. You never see the thousands of quiet, boring days that came before it. Your first $10,000 isn't supposed to be fast. It's supposed to change you. It's supposed to teach you patience in a world addicted to speed. It's supposed to build emotional muscles most people never develop.
Waiting without giving up. Saying no when everything around you says just this once. Continuing even when no one is watching. This is why your first 10K is often the hardest money you'll ever save. Not because of the amount, but because of who you have to become to get there. That's also why, after you reach it, everything else becomes easier. You don't just have money, You have proof. Proof that you can commit, stay consistent, and respect your future more than your impulses. And once you have that, you're not just someone who saved 10K. You're someone who can build much more. If you want help turning these ideas into something real, something you can practice every day, you'll find a link in the pinned comment to the 30-Day Wealth Habits Challenge. It walks you through simple, realistic actions to calm your money anxiety, organize your finances, and build habits that move you toward your first 10K without burning out. If this video made you pause, even for a few minutes, and think differently about your money, that's already a sign you're ready for this next phase. A phase where you stop seeing $10,000 as something other people achieve, and start seeing it as your starting point. To keep learning, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Here, you'll find more content on money psychology, financial behavior, and how to build real wealth, starting from wherever you are right now.